Welcome to our Getting Started webinar. We will be reviewing the page ladder, how to add fonts, setting up the ReplayIt private photo submission account, and how to transfer material from a 2020 account to the current year. You will be able to find all the information I am covering in the Memory Book Online manual under Design and Creation. This webinar will be approximately 20 to 30 minutes long. To get logged in, you're going to go to memoryebooks.com, and we do have a link from our company website here. It's up here at the top, Memory Book Online login. And it's going to take you to this page. You should have gotten your login information earlier in the season, or you can always talk to your customer rep and get that login information. Now, the forget your password or forgot your password, if you've forgotten your password, email will be sent to your email address that we have on record here for in the contact screen. Okay, once you get logged in, you're going to be here at our home page or the welcome screen. This is going to give you a countdown to how many days you have to finish your book. Now, this time is all determined by the due date that you guys have set with your customer rep on when we needed to receive your book so we can get it shipped out to you. Here's some reminders here. You probably have already gotten your cover selection in or your artwork, but there's that due date, and this is a reminder for your portraits on CD. You'll want to be sure to send those in so we can get them uploaded. And this is a reminder of when your book is due, and this is the approximate ship date. These items down here just give you some information that you don't necessarily need. It's got how many images are in your inbox staff and how many images the staff has uploaded and different things like that. Over here, it shows a little preview of the images, the activity images that you need to tag if you're keeping track of who's in the book and how many times they're in there. If you're not tagging your images and you're not concerned about that, then you can just ignore this. The page status, this is going to show you how many are not started, how many are in progress, and so on. And these numbers will change as you're working on your book. Of course, when you first log in, you're going to have all your pages here under the not started status. So the next place we want to go, and this is a area we're going to concentrate on today, is the page ladder. And this is basically how the pages are going to be laid out in your book. So you'll want to be sure to plan ahead and decide what pages you want to have where. You can always go in and move them and change them around, but it makes just a little bit more work if you don't plan it ahead of time. If you're moving spreads and things, that's not a big deal, but when you're moving individual pages, it does make it a little more difficult. When you first get logged in here, you'll notice that you have load last year's page descriptions and sections and page designs. If you load last year's descriptions and sections, it's this area right here. And if you didn't type anything last year, there won't be anything to move forward, so it'll stay blank. But if you want to go in here and add, even after you've loaded last year's descriptions and sections, you can always go in here and retype this and change this by clicking in those areas. Once you've made a change there, you want to go to the top here and click Save All. Now, if you're loading last year's page designs, when you click that button, all the templates are going to go onto the pages exactly like they were when you submitted your book. This year, you will have to go in and change your class pages because you won't be able to flow into those templates like you were last year. You have to do something a little bit different there and add a flow element. But we'll show you how to do that later in working with your portraits. That's next week's webinar. Over here, there's a filter, so you can decide or figure out who, maybe if you're assigning pages, you want to see how many pages and what pages your teammates have. You can go here and choose the name. Ordinarily, you want these on all the specific things they have here. All staff, all page types. This is if you were making some black and white and some color. All page statuses, so you could go here and you could click on the ones that aren't started, and now they're all showing, just the ones that aren't started. Now here's where we get some calls occasionally. Customers will call and say, I can't find all my pages, they've disappeared in the page ladder. Well, if you'll go over here to all page statuses, they'll show back up. Sometimes just by accident we're clicking around and those get hidden. All lock statuses, as you go down through, if you lock the page or complete it or whatever, it'll show you the locked or unlocked status. And here's the little color key for the different statuses. So a red border on the page means that it's not started. A yellow border is going to show you that are in progress. And once you do that, it's always going to pop up a complete button here. So that's the next step that you can do. Once you click complete, then those borders around those pages will turn green. And then once you get all your pages submitted, or a couple pages submitted, they'll have a black border around the edge, and all of your options out to the side will go away. Here you can choose different actions when you're submitting your pages, so you can submit them all or complete them all at once. You can also have a display range here. This print button, whenever you click that, it's going to give you the option to download or to create a PDF of all of your pages that you can save to your computer, and you can use that as your proof. Maybe you need to print out a copy to give to the principal or the administration so they can give the final approval. But this is where you can go to create that PDF to print out. And here's the page mover. As you're going and creating your pages, you'll go here and you'll just click and drag your spreads. You can also do this in a single view, but you really want to be careful as you're doing that if you have any of your pages locked or anything. So I'm going to go back to my page ladder here. Under the plan, I'm going to show you here how to create a staff login. So if you have several people on your team and maybe they're students and you want to kind of control what access they have, you don't want to give them the advisor login because then they have access to all the features in the book. So they could go in and make some changes and override something that you wanted to keep. So under the staff login here, to create one, you'll go to the Add Staff, and then you'll fill in your different fields here. You'll make up your own password and your username. So make sure it's something you can remember. I don't believe you'll be able to use just plain staff because there's already a staff login like that. So it might be, may need to use like staff 3, staff 4, and so on. But you want to keep track of what you enter in here and the password, because when you come back in, if you needed to change it, then you won't be able to see it. But you'll choose the role here. Now, advisor gives you access to the whole program, and they're going to have the same access that you do. An editor is kind of the middle of the road. They have a few more privileges than the staff, and then of course the staff has the least amount of privileges. If you want to see what roles and what their privileges are, you can go to page 139 in the manual. Okay, I'm going to cancel this since I didn't really create anything. But here then, when they're in the list, you can go and make them inactive, or you could delete them. You could even go in, and if you needed to edit their password or their username or something, you'd go in here to do that. You can also view the activity that they've been doing whenever they're working on the book. So if you go there, you can see a report of that person's logging in and what pages they've saved and things like that. You can also email your whole team here. If you've put in their email addresses whenever you were creating their login, you can go here and you could send out an email to everyone all at once. The next thing I want to show you is how to add fonts. And if you want to see a list of all of the fonts that are in the program and how they're the categories they're broken down into, that's on page 207 in the manual. But basically, to add fonts, you're going to be in this screen and you can choose what kind of fonts you want to check out. So whenever you want to add one, you can see the preview over here at the side. You'll click active, and this doesn't change purple right away, but it has jumped to the top of the list. So that shows you that it is in one of your options that you can choose in the drop down. Here it is right here. Now, if you've got too many fonts in here and you don't want everyone to have that many choices, you can always come in here and just click inactive and it'll basically delete it out of your list. Under the styles, this is a new feature this year. When you go to create your pages, you can have different styles that you can drag over to the page that's already formatted. So if I chose to use this title page style that I've created, it's going to drop the font formatted just like this. It's going to drop the text box over on the page, and you can designate what size you want it to be, and you could always choose what color, I believe. So if you wanted to go in and edit it after you've created it, you can come in here, and it doesn't give you the option to choose the color right off the bat. You would have to do that in the pages where you're creating your pages. But you could come in here and change the size if you wanted to. So whenever you drop that on a page, it's always going to be that size and that style font. If you want to delete those, you'll just go over here to the menu. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is how to activate the ReplayIt feature. The ReplayIt private photo submission is no longer an app. It's a separate website that you can send the link out to your parents or your team, and they can go and upload images to the program, and they don't have access to any of the pages. They would just be uploading their images. So you would just go down through and fill these fields in. You would check this little box here, the day you want to activate it. So if you chose 3 days from now to activate, you type your date in here and the off date. Now, if you want to go in and test it, keep in mind that it's not going to be active until 3 days from now. So you wouldn't be able to test it until then either. You don't want to change this number in your how many images are in that inbox. You'll click this little box and then save, and you're going to get a link here, and this is the link that you're going to send out to everyone. So if you send out the link, it automatically pops up to this page, and that person can choose the files on their computer or their iPad or whatever device they're using. And they'll have to enter in their email address and a little bit of details about that. and I'm not sure. I'd have to test it to see how many you can upload at a time. Now the ReplayIt private photo submission flyer, when this was created, this link isn't going to work the same as the link that you have back there. So if you wanted an up-to-date one with the correct link here, we can always send that to you. You can just send an email to tech support, let us know your job number and everything, and we can send that flyer to you so you can print it out and you can give it out to your committee or your parents. But otherwise, you want to use this link right here with the big long number at the end. And to find those images when they're uploaded, you'll go to your image library, and they're going to be here in the first inbox ReplayIt. And these are images here that's been uploaded to my inbox ReplayIt. And so to use those, you'll have to click and drag those images down into one of your current folders. Because you'll only have access to these activity and portrait folders when you're designing your pages. Okay, I also want to show you how to transfer images from last year. So you'll have to get your login information or dig around and get it out. You can always send us an email or give us a call and we'll be happy to get that to you. But when you're logged in last year's book, you'll go here to the image library and you'll click on a folder that you want to move forward. And then you'll click this button here that says it's going to have a 2021 date here. You'll click that, and then you'll see the little image or the little arrow on the folder that lets you know that that's been moved forward to this year's book. So technically these images I've moved forward to next year's book. So those will, I would be able to find those. And when you do that from last year, you'll go to My 2020 Images here in your current book, and it'll be in My 2020 Images, and you'll have to click and drag those images into current folders so that you'll have access to those, because you won't be able to access these folders in your designing section. Okay, and if you have moved templates forward from last year, you're going to find those in the new page designer, and you're going to find them under designs and under custom, My 2020 templates. So these are all the templates that I've saved from last year. And if you've saved class page portraits, like this one is a portrait, I would need to replace those areas where the kids are going to flow onto the page. And we'll go over that when we show you next week on how to flow your class pictures. Okay, and also I want to remind you to get your class photos on CD in so that we can get those uploaded for you. And when we get them uploaded, you'll find them here in your image library under portraits, and you'll see the different folders on how you've specified for us to sort those. So if you want them in there by teachers, let us know teacher. If you want them in there by grade, let us know grade. And we only use the information that the photographer has supplied. So if you've requested us to upload them by teacher and the photographer has only given us grade, then that's how we'll have to upload them. Now you can go ahead and sort them and change them if you need to in here, so that's not a big deal. Or you can request a new index from the photographer and get that to us, and then we can get those re-uploaded, sorted a different way for you. And if you want more information on signing up to the ReplayIt private photo submission, that's on page 151 of the manual. So does anyone have any questions? If you have any questions, be sure to type it in the chat bar and I'll be happy to answer them. We will have a recorded version of this session that we can send you the link so you can listen to it again if you'd like. So once that's all been sort of processed, we'll send that link out to you. Okay, I have a question. How can I let other people have access? Do you mean creating logins, or do you mean the photo submission? Okay, for other parents to help. Okay, so you can create different logins for them if you'd like. Otherwise, you were given 2 logins whenever you were, whenever we sent the login information, and you could give them the generic staff login, and they would have just staff status when they go in to work on the pages. If you wanted to be very specific and keep track of what parents are doing what in the book, then you could go here under Plan and go to Staff, and you could create an actual staff login for them. And then I didn't show you guys how to assign those pages. Once you get a login created for your teammates, you can go here to your ladder, and under Staff, when you click in the window at the end, you can choose people to work on these pages. So if all of your pages are unassigned, anyone can work on them, even if they're logged in as staff. So if you wanted specific people to work on specific pages, you'd need to create a login for them and then go in here and choose the person to work on the page. And they can log in and they can see all of the pages, but they won't be able to work on them unless they're assigned to them. Now, like I say, if they're unassigned, then anyone can work on them, so they could work on any pages. And anytime you make your changes, you want to go here to the Save All. The next question is, do we need to drag the images from the portrait folder into the active folders in order to have access when creating the pages? No, whenever you are in your image library, your activity images are going to be just your candid pictures. Up here under the portraits are going to be your headshots or your portraits your photographer takes for you. So when you go to a page and you go to the Flow tab, the Flow function, you'll only see these folders here. And you'll only be able to flow these images. You won't be able to select any of these folders. So it should be, you will want to go in and organize all of your portraits to make sure they're in the right group and the names are all covered, are all correct. Okay, the next question is, how can I see my cover with the rest of my book? This is only the inside pages. So if you wanted to have a copy of what your cover looks like, you'll want to go back into your cover order center, and then at the end you can look at you can download a proof or copy of it. Now, after we print the cover, we're going to send you 1 copy or 2 copies of it so that you can actually see what it looks like all printed. But if you're wanting to see the different themes, you can go into your image library and go here to clip art and theme packages. And here's a list if you know the name of your cover. So this is Burst. These are the backgrounds that go with it. Okay, the cover order center, if you used one of our standard covers, if you ordered one of those, that's where you would have gone in and you would have typed the name and the school name on it and chosen a color if you chose one of our customizable ones. Otherwise, you could email tech support, or you could email your customer rep and we could send a PDF proof of that cover if you've lost the email that the proof came the first time. Okay, and I have one person that says that they haven't ordered their cover yet. I'll just hit this real quick. Go to our company website, and if you go here to free standard covers and the standard cover order center, and this is if you're ordering one of our standard covers, you're going to type in the school, your job number, and then advisor is usually the password. So then you'll log in and you'll just follow the prompts to choose your cover and personalize it so that it fits your school. And if you need help with that, give us a call and we'll be happy to walk you through that. Now, if you're doing a special cover, you should have gotten information on the FTP site and how to order how to upload your scanned images or your artwork that you've created. Do we have any other questions? Okay, looks like we don't have any more questions. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. I hope this webinar has helped to make the getting started process not feel so overwhelming. Please join us next week for Working with Portraits. We will be showing you how to organize your class portraits so you can use the auto flow function to build class pages. Thank you.